You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Vince.
I'm James.
And this is your Geek
Yeah,
Fix.
you know, I mean, we've been hanging out for what now, 5 hours?
Something like that, yeah. With no
We
recording.
haven't done a real podcast lately. I don't even know, because of what we've spent most of our morning doing and kind of the urgency of it. I might not get to even get this out unless I don't edit it. But honestly, we've had a lot of things going on. We kind of talked about that. I talked about that with James when he was last on. But, you know, besides our own lives being very busy and stuff, but also just big things and traveling. This upcoming week, I'm going to Vegas and stuff. Yeah, were you sick or were you someplace? I can't remember the last time that we recorded. You were sick. He was really sick.
I was really sick, yeah.
Yeah, which I've got to get an update on something with that too. But, you know, so we haven't really had an opportunity to do as many podcasts. Something else that happened, which plays into actually what I wanted to talk about a little bit, and then talking about some other things. But so James and I invested time on watching and reviewing the worst movie ever made, Troll 2. We did that. And I even posted a kind of an advertisement for it and things. And anyone that tried to watch it, which I tried posting it 6-7 times, kept editing it.
Yeah,
I contacted YouTube. I contacted MGM. I did all sorts of things to try and get this stupid thing down I'm trying to pick my battles, but at the same time, I'm still like, this was so good. I put so much time into editing it too, that we got to get this out there, or at least the thing that was making me think of this too is while Vinz was at home sick, I thought, I'm going to send it at least to Vinz so he can watch it. And I could still do that. I could do that today. I'm going to send it to you. You can watch it just private. But I couldn't even privately publish it. Like, it wouldn't even let me do it where it was hidden. I could view it. So, you know, it's, and the whole reason for that, which I was curious about this part too. So since you haven't seen the video, when it does come out, that'll be good. But in the thing about this video was, part of what we brought up was that Troll 2 is not the sequel to Troll. It was just a movie that was made, and they tried to capitalize off of Troll, the movie, for the 1980s. And then they put it out. And I knew that it didn't have protections on it. So I thought it was also pretty safe that way. And I've seen other YouTubers make the same thing. They do reaction videos to Troll 2. Yeah. So why should that be a problem, right? Well, the reason why it's a problem is because MGM said, hey, even though you have the 2 at the end, we own Troll. Your movie is now ours. And they did that, and they put it together because Troll 2 did do well as far as it's one of the worst movies ever made. It has a huge fan base. You know, every year they have these conferences where people go there, they watch the show together. They say the lines to the screen as it's going through the whole thing. They always have a panel of the actors. I mean, this is a big deal. And because of now MGM gets a small portion of that. They also they sell a package set of Troll and Troll 2 together on DVD. And if you go on, and I did notice I paid for the copy that I used, that we reviewed and we reacted to, and we didn't watch it all the way through. We also, it's edited. It's us talking throughout the whole thing, plus, all this stuff. I mean, all the things that are fair use on top of that. But it does have MGM at the beginning. And I remember when I first was watching it, I was like, MGM is at the beginning. I didn't think MGM was involved. So that's what happened. Just because the logo is copyrighted. They had Troll. It wasn't even the same logo. It's not even the same type. It's just the word Troll. Did you know you can take the word Troll? So does this mean they also own all the Trolls movies?
They're trolling, all right.
Yeah. So it's interesting though, just by that piece, and something else that we were talking about earlier, Vince and I. I'm doing the fan home build of the D. Agostini model of the die-cast DeLorean, right?
Yeah.
And what Vinz is reaching for.
This one.
Yeah, oh, that one. Yeah. Oh, I think you're going to grab you also have the Playmobil one, though, right? The Playmobil
but
Back to the Future one?
I bought book 1 and 2 of the Agostini DeLorean a while back.
Isn't it cool, though? Small tangent. That license plate, I got the, I bought the mod version of it, so it's metal, but at the same time, it has these little tiny registration stickers that look exactly like they do in the U.S. I don't know what they look like out where you guys are, but we have these reflective, they're kind of like hologram stickers that you put on that have the dates of the registration.
Okay. No, we don't have those.
You had to put those onto that license plate. They had these itty bitty little, and they're made of the same stuff. They're reflective. So cool. But at the same time, they and anybody else. So anything you have a shirt that has a DeLorean on it that you're selling. You've got anything that you have. The things that have come out recently is there is now a lawsuit, and it looks like they're going to win by DeLorean, the manufacturer, who's now releasing a new DeLorean. Because apparently DeLorean himself didn't actually own the rights to the DeLorean image, name, and things like that at the time that he sold rights to was it Universal that made Back to the Future, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. That's where they filmed it and things, but at the same time, but yeah, they didn't sell them the rights to it. So because DeLorean itself didn't sell the rights, and they were the ones retaining it at that time, and he sold the rights after he had already given up the company, they're saying, hey, technically everything that's ever been made that related to this movie, and the DeLorean itself, I should say, instead of the movie, every toy, everything else, like we need to be paid for that now because we, going back, retro, and we should be getting something for that.
Even the Mandalorian has to watch out.
Yeah, there you go. But only the one that's silver.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so, it's super interesting that, you have this thing where people, these properties that we like, after all this time now are being threatened, and the toys that we have, if you really, I'm not saying that this could happen, but at the same time, it's not unrealistic that even like the fan home stuff or the 1/6 scale, or even this one I've got over here, that they couldn't be, hampered and continue to sell them if these groups don't agree to the new license or to this retro license and thing. So it's a big deal. Go over it, Vinz.
Yeah, no, I do think, I do hope, though, I'm not a lawyer in any means, but I do think that because the precedent's there that they are selling this and have licensed it from a licensor, that they can do within the license that they purchased, do whatever they want, and that it's up to maybe them and the licensor to figure it out. But I don't know. It's a sad state of affair. I do know, for example, that sometimes people or companies that say established in 1902 or like old 16 whatever, they tend to just go into the trademark office and buy old trademarks and then make it look like it's an old company, but the company hasn't existed on paper for 60, 70 years or 100 years even. And if that's the case, that people can retroactively get the rights to something and then say, oh, anything and everything you made in that likeness, it's ours. That's a pretty dangerous precedent, I think.
Well, it goes we've been talking about Ghostbusters today. Even with like Ghostbusters, you remember we've talked about this a little bit on here before, not in super detail, but the movie, they had the rights and worked out the rights to be able to use the name Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
but it was limited. It couldn't be in cartoon form, comic form, or one other one, and so. The cartoon, so of course it's the name Ghostbusters already important, or is already doing well, and so the cartoon was called The Real Ghostbusters. Meanwhile, it was at that same time, or just before that came out, I think it was, that Ghostbusters, the cartoon, came out. Which anyone that didn't live in the how old is that comic? It was from like the 1940s or 50s, wasn't it? It's really old.
Cartoon, the comic is old, and then there was this live action show with
but that was as old as like the Three Stooges. The live action show, because it had somebody from it had one of them in it. At one point in time. So I mean, like that was a black and white old movie that was done. The Ghostbusters.
You mentioned the Three Stooges, and I still don't know anything about them except for cultural osmosis.
Dang
I know
Vinz.
you have Larry, Curly, and Moe. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. That's all you need to know, really.
But that's
and Shep. You know that.
That's Shep, apparently. No, but I mean, Animaniacs is the main source for those kind of things, like Groucho Marx. I don't know anything about it.
They're based on it,
yeah, and all that kind of stuff. But no, in at least where I'm from, that's all stuff you only got from American media referencing it, and not so much actually seeing the media itself.
Yeah, I get that.
It's still weird.
I'm not that old, but I remember like I said, when I was a little kid, I remember watching like Abbott and Costello, which were old at that point already, but sometimes it was like a safe show to watch, and there wasn't that many great shows out.
Well, we had Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
What's it called again? I forgot the name. Like the westerns.
Spaghetti westerns or John Wayne.
Beard guy with the fists.
Big beard guy with the fists. Now I can't see what it is.
I forgot. Bud Spencer, that's the one.
Oh my gosh!
and the worst thing is, we watched it in German dubs because it only came in Germany, and we had Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, right? Those two, like those guys, that was basically only
old.
American. Yeah, that's what.
But I mean, imagine that's the hard thing, though. Is these weren't even intentional remakes.
No.
It's just that they were using the same name, but they had to be careful about licensure. And then, for that reason, the cartoon, that's why it's called The Real Ghostbusters, is because they couldn't use Ghostbusters.
Filmation,
Yeah, so, I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, but with the DeLorean, I think it's concerning. But on the other hand, I mean, if they did, spend the money on the license and it is an actual thing that they own, then by all means, they should have the right to. But I think it will damage your brand more if you're going to go after the people who are already doing stuff. And forbidding it, and not so much saying, okay, well, this is the fee, and go on with your business. I mean, there is a big franchise involved, and you could also state, for example, that although you could maybe do it like the same thing as they did with I'll just call it the Time Machine, and have like the iconography of the modded DeLorean is the Time Machine.
Yeah.
The fact that it happens to be a DeLorean is fine, but we won't mention it anymore. And we just have the Time Machine, and that's the IP that we can license, for example.
The Time Machine had the big old wheel on the back, and
No, but I mean, having the licensed DeLorean parts and basically building a DeLorean up until the last part and turning it into a Time Machine with the DeAgostini kit is going to be a problem, of course, because you're building an actual DeLorean on scale.
Yeah.
But I mean, just saying that, okay, well, the Back to the Future Time Machine is different license-wise than an actual DeLorean car.
Right.
I can think that might be a loophole.
Actually, so that was the argument, though. They already went through that. So they said, well, but ours is actually a time machine. It's not exactly the car and stuff. The problem is it says on the front in the movie, and there's close-up shots multiple times of that DeLorean logo and the DeLorean statement on the side. So DeLorean is in the logo's in the center. The words are on the side.
Book one already has it here.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it's on the bumper and things. I mean, DeLorean put their ID all over the place on it. Yeah, and so there's no taking that out. And the question of are you going to go back into the movies?
You have a special edition.
Do George Lucas and just change it all. I don't know. But I mean, a similar thing happened. Another kind of similarly related thing is the whole Steamboat Willie situation. You got Mickey Mouse. A lot of people out there thought that Mickey Mouse was what was running up, and Disney actually made a comment that they aren't going to use Mickey as their what do you want to call him?
Trademark.
Yeah, or what do you call it? Mascot. Yeah, they're not. It's not going to be the mascot anymore, and so that they're going to be trying to find something that's more. I don't know what it's going to be. Something that's more modern or whatever. But on the flip side, I think people misunderstood all this and thought that what was coming, I think a lot of people thought, well, this means that when that runs up, that we can use anything that's Mickey Mouse for use. And it was only Steamboat Willie, only the black and white from that cartoon that was, which by the way wasn't created by Walt Disney. That's also a very popular thing that everyone's talking about. But at the same time, that Steamboat Willie was the only thing that got released. And of course, there was a horror movie named Steamboat Willie that came out. And as soon as that thing was I think it interesting because they weren't even that wasn't even free use at that point. But they were already making the movie clearly before that, like how they got away with that. But then they released this horror movie named that. But the problem they ran into is the Mickey Mouse that's in it is Mickey Mouse, not Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
So for that reason, now they're running into problems with that movie. And then other people have made a lot of YouTube things and stuff like that and Disney goes after people like nothing when it comes to that stuff. Just that they were releasing Mickey Mouse related stuff thinking that they were free use now, and they weren't. And so it's real tricky. It's these are things that you got to be careful about. Vinz, tell us about some of your. Do you mind talking about some of your experience recently with licensed things and trying to get the use and make it work?
Yeah,
it's an adventure you've been through. You ought to do a little documentary.
Maybe. Let this be the document then, the low effort one. So, I'm a big, let's say, I am a Ghostbusters fan, and during the lockdown and COVID and all that kind of stuff, I got bored and I started buying prop replicas for Ghostbusters. And I've always liked the movies, I've always played the games, collected some small stuff, but never that big. I had the Ecto 1 as a kid that I bought on a flea market, secondhand. Was never a main thing. But I found out that I really like building those props because they're low. They're not low effort, but they go wide and they go deep. And there's a lot of lore behind it, a lot of information behind it. But Ghostbusters embraces the fact that you are a middle-aged guy building something in your garage, which is what I'm doing most of the time. And so you can get away with the imperfections. And I think that was really freeing for me. They call it wonkiness of the parts. It doesn't have to be perfect because someone just made it in a garage, and that's how it's done. So I got into prop collecting, prop making, and Ghostbusters itself in the Netherlands is not a big fandom. In Germany, however, there's a huge fandom, encompassing the whole of Germany, and they had an actual German dub of the movie, like the actual Ghostbusters live action movie was dubbed in German. And joining a fan club that had their own stand on cons,
this is Columbia, right? Columbia's to keep it straight. Columbia is the one that's in charge of Ghostbusters.
Oh, to be continued.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just so
I was
this
just trying to track
preamble.
it in my head. Okay.
No. The preamble is that the Ghostbusters fan club has a nice stand on conventions, and the German Ghostbusters group had an interactive stand where they would go to getting Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray or Ernie Hudson costs lots of money to do some voice work. But in Germany, they asked the old voice actors from the movie to do voice work for their interactive stand, so they had the German Ghostbuster experience.
Wow.
And those voice actors would love to do that. And I was thinking, okay, well, we in the Netherlands, we don't have a dubbed version of the original movie,
right?
But we do have Dutch voices for the Ghostbusters in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. Mm-hmm. Because in the 80s, the real Ghostbusters cartoon was dubbed in Dutch. Mm-hmm. So I just went on Wikipedia and looked at
Wikipedia also. Check them
both, just in case.
Yeah.
And that's a special Vinz version. No, but and I looked at the names and I just put on some went on LinkedIn and started looking for those names, and I just found the name of the guy who did Eagle Spangler. the guy was a total stranger to me, so I had to activate my premium trial on LinkedIn to send him a message. And I
Does
sent
he
this
look
whole
anything like him, or
no? He has glasses though, but that's the only thing.
Does it?
He sounds like him.
yeah,
No, but
yeah.
The thing is, so I contacted him, wrote a whole letter, and he says, "Oh, cool, let's meet up." And he visited my house. I showed him some of the props that I had, and we talked about it. And I gradually gained like a list of actors who were involved with the real Ghostbusters cartoon, and also the person responsible for the dubbing studio back then, because I wanted to find out if there were any tapes or if there was any digital way to get that cartoon shown, because I was looking for nostalgia, and I wanted to know how those episodes sounded like. So long story short, basically I now have the cast of the real Ghostbusters in the Netherlands behind me that may be interested in either releasing the Dutch dub on DVD or something, or maybe even dubbing episodes that weren't dubbed before. Now, how that goes is you basically have to have a license for that. So the first thing I did was, okay, I'll send an email to Universal. I'll send an email to Sony. Nothing. I just Netflix, baby. Nothing. So Yuri and I, we decided to dress up and just go to Amsterdam to the Universal Studios office and the Netflix office, because we also heard that there was going to be a sequel to the real Ghostbusters cartoon on Netflix anytime in the future. So the old cast, at least Yuri and the guy doing Peter Venkman, were interested in doing new dubs for the new series or for new episodes. So we thought, okay, well, we'll just go there to Universal in Amsterdam and see how far we go. When we got there, it was a very bare-bone situation. Like, it was basically just a offshore office. There was someone sitting behind the reception with some DVD boxes, like limited edition ones that had some stuff on there, and not much there. So we said, well, listen,
VHS.
no, yeah, but I mean, it was the DVD Blu-ray division of Universal. So we get there, and Yuri just says, okay, I'm the voice of Egon Spengler for the cartoon in the 80s. Right. And we would be interested in finding out who the licensor was, or someone in licensing who could help us out with the thing. I mean, Ghostbusters is having a revival. We have quite a lot of fans in the Netherlands who would love to get the Dutch dub of the cartoon. The Dutch dub of the cartoon is also very, very Dutch. So they talked over the intro, they talked over the outro. They made very coarse jokes and very funny jokes, and basically, Yuri was the guy who was translating the script. They only got the script and not the video, because the guy dubbing from the dubbing studio figured out that as long as your voice is in sync, it will match the mouth,
the voice flaps.
Yeah, the voice flaps, and kids wouldn't even notice, right? So,
mouth flaps.
Yeah. So he only got like the written script, and he had to translate this. So everything that happened in New York happened in Amsterdam. Everything that happened in the Empire State Building, for example, was at another local landmark. So it became a very,
wait a minute, that's
Dutch...
not right.
So she says, well, we're basically a cinema mostly, and the DVD stuff is going away. But we'll let you know. So, for me, Amsterdam is like a 4-hour trip or something, at least. Wow. So it was a big investment for like 5 minutes of talking. But I thought it was worth it. Then later on, we thought we'd go to Netflix as well. Now, the Netflix office was in Amsterdam, but it was a half-an-hour drive from the part in Amsterdam that we were to the other part. And it's not really, it's documented, but it's not really an inviting place to go, because it's in a suburb somewhere. It doesn't say Netflix on the everything, unless you have to go there, and unless you're like a content creator or something, you go in there. And it's like a lounge. It's like Netflix logo. It has like the curtains in the shape of the logo opening, that kind of stuff.
No, really? That's kind of cool. Okay.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
But there's this lady with a laptop standing there, basically being the bouncer, and they go like, okay, who are you here for? Or we said, well, the guy responsible for the rights for the new Ghostbusters cartoon. Do you have a name? No? Okay, well, then there's one thing I can give you, and that's this. And she goes to a little cabinet, and she opens the door, she gets like a business card, and it says Amsterdam@netflix.com. Here you go. Good luck.
Here's how you sign up.
No, this is like, okay, so...
This is just the billing office.
The Universal one looked like it was a billing office, but Netflix was something else.
That's funny. Weird.
But now I'm in contact with hopefully the global licensing manager of Sony, because Universal doesn't do anything in the Netherlands about that.
Okay.
But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get a Dutch version released.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, so Sony Columbia is their one thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure how that breaks down. I know sometimes different countries, because like you can't always, even here on YouTube. You know, some things, if I do something wrong, or like with some of the whole troll thing, it immediately tells you what countries you're blocked from because it's protected in those countries. And so, you know, and the license can only be done in certain things. Like, the people have learned, for example, to, when you go to post a video, if you are reviewing like a video game or something, put on there that you don't want it released in any Asian country, because those are the first countries that are going to block you, and that will try to also put in a strike against you. Okay. And so, but yeah, so I mean, it's not what Vinz is trying to do is like a big thing. It sounds like smaller to try and get it just for the Dutch, but it's like you're trying to get it from the people that
up top
that are So,
and it's also, you have to know the name or you can't get in. So I called the UK office a while back and I said, hey, listen, you're Sony UK. I am just looking for someone that can help me out. Okay, who do you need? I said, I don't know. The licensing manager. Sorry, I can't help you with that. So I just went Googling and I found the name of the lady. I said, okay, I called back again. I said, hi, this is Vincent again. Can I get this person?
Yeah.
Did I talk to you earlier this morning? He said, yeah. Where did you get the name from? I said, I just Googled it. I'm being honest. I mean, she's here, but she's not in the system, and you can't really...
she's behind the scenes going...
But now I got her on LinkedIn, and we chatted a bit. So hopefully that'll... But you need to know the name, and it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Because I also contacted the people who did the German dub on DVD. And it's basically that they did an SD on Blu-ray. So basically they got the whole series on Blu-ray in SD quality. But it means that they only had to have one Blu-ray to put a whole series on. And they only had like 20 episodes dubbed. We have some more, I think. And they are willing to dub them, at low cost, the new ones that only English. So that's interesting.
Wow. I mean, how cool though. It's still that's pretty exciting stuff. Are you going to live through it?
I know. It's just, all of a sudden there's this.
The reason why I was drinking so much during your interview too is because I've been sick for like 3 weeks. And at work it's bad. Like, again, work in a hospital and we coughing.
No.
But at the same time, at any rate, I think it's, I mean, on one hand, it's a hassle and it's problematic and you don't want some of these these limitations and these licenses like ruining things. I get what they're in place, but on the flip side, there's some interesting stories about how and why. It also explains why we have certain things the way they are. So I might be going to see. I'm afraid I told Vince earlier I'm going to Vegas this upcoming week, and I've gone through. We had multiple things that we've gone through setting up. So we were supposed to go to Teller's house to do a tour. Then I realized there's this other guy by the name of From. He's has the coolest videos and things. He has a house. He's an illusionist that's popular in Vegas, and he's really popular online. But he's gone through and he made like a trap door in his house and stuff like that. So I'm sure you've seen his videos, and he's like excited. He's a great guy, contacts me immediately back every time I write him. And he's like, yeah, this is going to be great. Let's do this and that. Second I told him what days I'd be there, he's like, oh, I'm going to be gone on those days. Hopefully, we might be going still to go. There's somebody that actually owns the kit car, the kit car. Who bought it from actually the person that my family knows, that my dad knew, I think I actually told Yost about and stuff. But but at the same time, this car has
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The kit car. Right.
Kit.
But at any rate, in the show, it had black tires on it. Currently, it has I think it's Firestone tires on it. Or Goodyear, one of those two. And I saw the interview with him as to why he's left them on. The reason was because when the show was on, the show had him go promote the car. It was being sponsored by Goodyear or Firestone, which one it is.
Yeah, one of those.
So it had Goodyear tires on it. He decided to leave the Goodyear tires on it. So, on the show, they're all black tires, but he left them where they say this thing on it. Sometimes it's that the why something turns out the way it is or why it was left in a certain state that can be interesting just in and of itself, I think. So,
yep.
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I had, for example, is a prop from Hannah, the Amazon Prime series.
Oh, yeah.
Like the suitcase.
Yeah.
That's no longer a prop from Hannah. That's a Ghostbusters suitcase that I now have.
Yeah.
Because I am the custodian of the prop, and nobody really cares about the suitcase, I think.
Right.
So that got turned into something else. But you see also like a lot of props that are used in movies, for example, are from prop houses that use it for multiple things. Like the PKE meter from the Ghostbusters shows up in some other movies at times, and like radios and all that stuff tends to get reused and also added upon. Like old Star Trek stuff, old Star Trek props are being reused in other stuff. I think there's a line between curation, restoration, and maintaining what it is, but also adding to it. I mean, it's his story, or I assume it's he, with the kit car that the Goodyear tires are on there because of the promotion, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, and then also this is how you identify the props. So part of the reason why they know this was the actual screen use. This is the only one that's, by the way, in existence that truly was screen used. Yeah, not exploded, not crushed and things, but also the other ones just they kind of disappeared over time. He knew that there was this one that was hidden somewhere, and he finally found out. And in a truck
like I said, on the road somewhere.
Yeah, in this case, the guy, it was being used. It was part of his collection. He would take these, around and for promotion for the studios. See, he also owned the Aston Martin back in the day, which the one that got taken and dropped in the ocean by accident. That was his too. So, but at the same time, like this is how you know it's the actual prop. There's there's the tires. The fact that certain things on the inside, the way they were, they can match it to the screen. So there's weld marks on the inside of the door, for example, that are horrible weld marks. And the reason was because in one of the episodes, they had one of the cars, it has to be rebuilt. And they just took off the doors. Well, it's just an actor that was welding. So he's welding the side of the door. So they have this big, long weld scar, basically. But because of that, they're able to say, yep, that's it. All right, this is the one that was there, and all the exposed pieces and stuff. So, the tires are part of that journey now. No, it's not screen. And also, there's a lot of things that are really messed up on it. But he's like, this is a real car. Low definition, you can see these things, but this is what it really looks like. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's cool to know that these things are out there and that they exist, and that people like Vinz is going to keep them, going, and stuff like that. But I will say, if you're not seeing tons of podcasts right now, that's okay. It's because we are doing other things. Because we're trying to turn out stuff. It's not like an every week thing. I admit right yet, but we will probably get together and do a slew together and to hang out. This is our opportunities to hang out. But we've had some good surprises. Really good the stuff that we're going to be able to show you only on that channel. I mean, this is an exclusive. Vince and I are the first people to see some things. I found out that we actually, I don't know, behind the scenes on the video that I released yesterday, technically it was even more accurate than the prop, I guess, in some ways, because it was based off of a photo that's been tweaked to look like the eventual thing will be. So I think when he saw the moving parts, he said with my hands and everything, it really threw him off too.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, I mean,
the actual prop isn't even there yet.
No, it's not built yet. So anyone who was writing me, how'd you get this so quick? I didn't. I said in the video, I don't know. I can't wait to get mine because I did not have one. It was just, I just thought it was a dynamic way. And I'll probably do that sort of thing again where it's like, it just shows the environment. And where you can see I think I still had it too big too now based on, we got to see the real prop at this point or the size of it and stuff. But at the same time, like I got to, I just think it's neater to see it the way it would look inside the space. And so I might do that again. I'm not trying to mislead anyone. I just think it's better than seeing, I hate when I go in and it's like, let's look at this, the first look at something. And then they look at really low quality pictures.
Yeah,
I want something where it shows something that shows interaction. I thought about having a 3D model. I mean, where it has the lines, going through it and stuff to just kind of show like this is what it would look like hologram wise. But at the same time, it all came out good. Yeah. I don't know.
All because I just casually sent you an email in the middle of the.
And I'd been trying to contact Chris for a while. He's just always traveling and stuff, and so he'd always be like, I stay in contact with his family quite a bit actually.
You're a friend of the family now, he said. So,
because I mean, he has an amazing family. Everyone inside of his family are just great people and very creative. So
most of our disposable income is funding that family.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because, I honestly, like I've talked to him about this before, like he doesn't make much from the wand company. Nobody at their company does. I mean,
he's not a millionaire
reasonable.
Or anything,
no, they make a reasonable living, but they really kind of are. I mean, they really truly are there for the fans. They will downprice things almost to the point of not being a business. So it's pretty crazy.
He said it's like it's up and downs, and the downs are really sketchy. And the ups are nice to have. That's what I got from it. Yeah. So I mean, I would guess this week is when I'm releasing all these videos from this interview, which was almost 4 hours. It took me so long to edit the first. I've gotten pretty efficient in my video editing. But at the same time, I skipped dinner for this.
Yeah, I really did. Yeah. Well, and I'm hopefully I did also. Oh, you know what? We're going to do one more recording real quick because Vince, this is going to be important to Vince too. So stay tuned for next time because we got some other things that are hopefully good for you.
If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that. But also check out our channel, join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, Your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at massivedmg_ and on his YouTube channel, massivedmg. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and the Replica Prop Forum. We also want to hear from you, so be sure to send your questions, stories, and other projects to yourgeekfix@gmail.com. In the meantime, this has been Your Geek Fix.